On the news, 5 people die as mine collapses in Kano State. Senator Doyediri receives certificate of return as Bayelsa governor. And United Nations warns against famine in East Africa. Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Anetta Felix. The Kano State Fire Service has confirmed that 5 out of 6 people trapped under a heap of sand at Dwoni village have died. In a statement on Friday, Public Relations Officer of the state, Saidu Mohammed, said the incident occurred in Ramin Farakasa Duni village in Mimbiji local government area of Kano. Mohammed said the bodies of victims were handed over to the village head of Duni, Bello Rabiu, adding that the only survivor had a minor fracture. He advised the general public who are into such businesses to be careful when digging or mining because of their safety. And out of politics, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has presented Doyediri of the People's Democratic Party a certificate of return, and that's as the duly elected governor of Bayelsa State. Diri was given the certificate after the Supreme Court disqualified Governor-elect of the state, David Leon of the APC, on Thursday. Suji Oye has more on that story.
It was 24 hours of waiting for the People's Democratic Party candidate Doyediri after the Supreme Court judgment that sacked the governor-elect of Bayelsa State, David Leon. Will he be given certificate of return as the duly elected governor of Bayelsa State, or will a fresh election be conducted as been speculated by some people? All that have been laid to rest now as Doyediri of the PDP received certificate of return from the Independent National Electoral Commission on Friday. In his acceptance speech, Doyediri thanked Nigerians for the support and promised a regime of reconciliation and progress.
My gratitude and our gratitude to the Creator God Almighty, who has made today possible. I want to appreciate the chairman, commissioners, and all other staffers of the Independent National Electoral Commission. It has taught us lessons of reconciliation, lessons of love.
With this development, the puzzle of who takes over from Seriake Dixon as the elected governor of Bayelsa State is settled. From Abuja, Sunji Oye, TV360 News.
On Friday, some members of the All Progressives Congress in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, occupied the streets and the government house protesting the Supreme Court ruling which sacked the party's elected candidate. The protesters, mostly women and youth, also blocked some of the roads and made bonfires. In a related development, some protesters also attacked the homes of Bayelsa Governor-elect Doyediri on Ingbi Road, Amarata, Yenagoa, the state capital. During the attack, they vandalized some vehicles in his compound and damaged parts of the building. The attack comes a few hours after the Independent National Electoral Commission issued a certificate of return to Diri in compliance with the verdict of the Supreme Court. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshiomhole, has faulted the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for declaring PDP's Doyediri as winner of the Bayelsa governorship election. While speaking to journalists in Abuja, Oshiomhole said the electoral umpire assumed the power of the court by interpreting the law. The former Edo State governor, however, said the party rejects the decision of the electoral umpire and will seek legal redress. Oshiomhole also called on the people of Bayelsa to maintain peace and order. Human rights group Amnesty International has accused the Nigerian military of burning some villages in Borno State, one of the worst hit states by the insurgency in the northeast. The group also alleged that security forces displaced residents of the affected villages in response to escalation in attacks by Boko Haram insurgents recently. Although military authorities denied the allegations, the human rights group said that its facts were drawn from interviews with affected villages and satellite data analysis. It, however, noted that the insurgents have heightened their activities in the region since December 2019, especially along the major road linking the Borno State capital, Maiduguri, with Damaturu, the capital, Yobe State. And reacting to this, the Nigerian military has debunked claims of abuse by Amnesty International, alleging that the group is deliberately supporting the cause and the callous act of terrorism perpetrated by Boko Haram terrorists and the Islamic State of West Africa Province, ISWAP. In a statement released by its acting director, Defense Information, Brigadier General Nyema Nwachukwu, the military accused AI of circulating, quote, a false report in a campaign of calumny targeting the Nigerian military, end of quote. The Nigerian military also revealed that the allegations being touted by the international rights group is nothing but a betrayal of its lack of in-depth knowledge of the goings-on in the Northeast Theater of Operation. The Minister of Health, Osage Ehanire, has confirmed that no Nigerian nationals in China are living with the deadly coronavirus, which the World Health Organization has renamed COVID-19. The Minister of Health, Osage Ehanire, revealed this at a press briefing in Abuja, where he also stated that Nigeria and the African continent are free from the disease. Meanwhile, the minister has advised that anybody entering into Nigeria should resort to self-isolation amid the sweeping COVID-19 scare. This, he said, is one of the measures adopted by the federal government to check the virus since its outbreak in Hubei province, the epicenter of the disease in China.
All people entering the country will fill a questionnaire as to their travel history, where they are coming from, and they are also given a number, particularly those who are coming from China. That number you will call if you get home. You need to self-isolate yourself for about 14 days. That is the maximum incubation period that is known for this virus. In the interest of your family, you self-isolate yourself. Don't mix with don't go to public places. Don't mix with people, so that and save your family and your friends and your relatives from risk of possible infection, because some people can have no symptoms at the time they arrive if the infection is recent, and then the infection can begin to manifest after some days. So that's the latent period by which nobody knows, that even the person involved doesn't know that he has anything until after some days. Under those circumstances, he must call the number and say that they are not feeling well, they have been to China or to that part of the world, and after some conversation, an ambulance can be sent to pick them up, to take them for further examination. And in case such people do not call, we also have their number on the form where they will be called and say, we haven't heard from you, how are you? Tell us if you are feeling well. Over a period of 14 days, that's the kind of, that's what we call the self-isolation protocol that we have developed to be able to track any possible person who is coming with such a problem.
Some Nigerian students in Wuhan, the epicenter of the COVID-19 outbreak in China, have accused the federal government of abandoning them. Speaking to newsmen, one of the students, Victor Vincent, who is studying at the China University of Geosciences, lamented their plight as they watch other students leave. The students say they and a dozen other Nigerian teachers and businessmen living in Hubei province have reportedly written and called on the Nigerian government officials requesting assistance, but they say only very little has been forthcoming in return. Vincent, who is an executive of the Nigerian Students in Wuhan Association, said the group has asked the government for evacuation and medical supplies such as face masks, goggles, gloves, and disinfectants, which only the medical supplies were provided. The Ekiti State House of Assembly has passed into law the act establishing Ekiti State Security Network Agency and Amotekun Corps. The Speaker, Fumini Afuye, during the plenary on Friday, says the bill has become a law, having passed the third reading. The bill will now be transferred to the state governor for assent. According to reports, the first two stages of passing the bill to law were done on Thursday before the plenary was adjourned till today. We'll take a break now and we'll be right back.
as the crash nurseries are being rescued alive from protected property.
That the election has been postponed and Nigerians have been reacting to the
local area of Lagos as early as 7 a.m.
Some minutes past the incident has been managed and also
headquarters this morning we have
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
Wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
You're welcome back. Now, the Lagos State has announced penalties for some companies that are on the wrong side of the law, and we have Onya Dekunle with updates on that and more.
The Lagos State Internal Revenue Service (LIRS) has announced the closure of 16 companies in the state over alleged failure to remit about 126.1 million naira consumption tax. The organization's Director of Legal Services, Sheyi Alade, while speaking to newsmen in Lagos, says that the company's tax liabilities were from 2014 to 2016. He added that the companies were audited for the periods but had not made the payments to the state government. According to him, the 16 companies have been closed down and prohibited from operation until they pay the taxes for the period. He said four of the companies that admitted their tax liabilities made their payments and an additional payment of 100,000 naira each as distress costs to LIRS. The director said that LIRS had spent several notices to the affected companies before embarking on an enforcement exercise. The Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, has advocated the support of Alaba electronic dealers and the Association of National Licensed Customs Agents as part of its efforts to reduce influx of substandard goods into the country. Director General of the organization, Osita Aboloma, noted that it has classified most of the Alaba products sold in the market as life-endangering, urging the electronic dealers to deploy a self-regulatory mechanism to check against the influx of substandard goods. He added that the standards body has automated its clearance processes for effective service delivery while also reducing human interference and reduction in turnaround time.
The electronics, electrical items that you deal, Nigerians and the Standard Organization of Nigeria consider this to be life-threatening. When I mean life-threatening, it means that is hazardous. So this usually when we elevate a product to that of that to being life-threatening, it simply means that the quality, the adherence to quality will be critical than others. And we cannot do it alone. Because we know the effect of substandard electronics, be it air conditioner, refrigerator, and so on the health of Nigerians and the drain to our economy. So, as part of our mandate, it's important that we make sure we prevent, we have zero tolerance for the influx of substance that electronics are taken to Nigeria.
You know, many people have lost confidence in Alaba, but we want to bring them back. Now, we are telling our people there is no need of promoting or selling fake product. Somebody like me, I have my own brand name. My own brand name is Sound Press, and it's well known in Nigeria, in Africa. And in our Alaba market, we have many people that have their own brand name. When you have their own brand name, there is no need of faking another person's product. So Alaba we are transforming Alaba to return back to the glory that people know for Alaba before.
We want to partnership with the SON in ease of doing business, making things work seamlessly in the ports. And I have to thank you for asking this question. You know, federal government of Nigeria, through our vice president, actually mentioned of ease of doing business. And what we are actually seeing is a situation where every other government agencies and the stakeholders like us will be working in tandem to that level and achieve that result. And that is why we're here.
The Finance Correspondents Association of Nigeria, FICAN, has urged investors to invest in real estate, shares and long-term bonds to reduce risk and realize higher returns. The association is speaking in view of the continuous slump in Treasury bills yields and occasioned by the stoppage of individuals and non-bank corporates from the Central Bank of Nigeria's open market operations auction. The real estate advisory firm said, though there is always a risk of losing money whenever one invests, there is also the need to invest wisely. According to the Director General of the group, the real estate sector provides a better option for investors that are looking for long-term windows to invest in because real estate has greater chance of appreciation.
Even if you can buy a house right now, I would always recommend you start with land because land is one of the most resilient real estate investments you can have. I mean, even in the recession, when everything was going down, land kept going up. Land was not stable, land was going up. It got to a point where if you saw someone buying a house, he wasn't buying the house for the house, he was buying the house for the land. I mean, everything just went out of sync. The retail, real estate, the malls, these are big malls, everything has collapsed apart from three. One, entertainment. Two, food. And three, I like it because it's a surprise, perfume.
What FICAN was set up to do was to drive capacity and knowledge. At every point in time, we keep thinking of how best our members can take advantage of opportunities in the financial market. I would think this forum or this training is one of those avenues we think can achieve that.
Oil prices edged higher on Friday, on track for their first weekly gain in 6 weeks, backed by expectations that major producers will implement deeper output cuts to offset slowing demands in China caused by coronavirus epidemic. Brent crude futures were up 13 cents at $56.47 a barrel after gaining 1% in the previous session. Brent is 3.7% higher for the week and as the first increase since the week of January 3. U.S. West Texas Intermediate futures were 14 cents higher at $51.56 a barrel. The contract rose 0.5% on Thursday and is now 2.4% higher for the week. We'll take a short break here and return with stock market review. Weekly trading activities on the NSE closed in the reds today with sell pressure further causing the market index to dip by 0.39%. Investors incurred a loss of 57 billion naira today to close the week negative as market cap stood at 14.455 trillion naira and market breadth also closed negative with 19 stocks lagging and 9 gaining. The downturn was largely boosted by just a minute price appreciation recorded in the shares of mid and large capitalized stocks such as Guinness, Guarantee Trust Bank, as well as UACN and Zenith Bank. And in spite of the downtrend, investors in the stocks of Caverton Offshore Support Group PLC traded positive, and the shares of United Capital PLC also rose by 8 kobo, and that's followed by Livestock Feeds PLC and UPL also appreciated in the value of their share prices. And in summary, the volume and the volume and value of trade reduced, which may be a good signal that bargain hunting activities could resume in the next session. But moving on now to foreign markets, it was FTSE, Dow Jones and Nikkei, all three traded bearish today. And that's it from here. It's back to you, Aneta.
Thanks for the update, Oyin. The foreign scene now, the United Nations has warned that the East African region could be on the verge of a famine if huge swarms of locusts devouring crops and pasture are not brought under control. Director of Emergencies for the UN's Food and Agricultural Organization, Dominic Bojon, said it would create a food crisis. The countries affected are Ethiopia, Somalia, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. So far, efforts to control the infestation have not been effective. There are fears that the locusts, already in the hundreds of billions, will multiply further. And in Zimbabwe, the vice chairman of the opposition MDC party, Job Sikala, has been charged with treason for allegedly saying he wanted to overthrow the president. Sikala was formally charged with attempting to overthrow the government unconstitutionally on Tuesday, with his lawyer Obe Chavez saying his clients denied the charges. Sikala, a senior official in the Movement for Democratic Change party, allegedly said in a speech at a rally on Saturday that the party would unseat President Emerson Mnangagwa before the next election. Some Zimbabweans hoped that the ousting of longtime autocrat Robert Mugabe in 2017 would usher in a more tolerant political scene as Mnangagwa sought to attract foreign investment. But government critics have been frequently targeted by the police and security forces as the country's economy tips into crisis. Rescuers say at least 5 people have died after a tourist boat capsized in southeastern Bangladesh on Friday. The boat carried nearly 30 tourists overturned in Kaptai Lake while it was on its way to Sublang Waterfall. It was traveling from Rangmati district headquarters, located nearly 200 kilometers southeast of the capital, Dhaka, said Ratan Nath, an official at the Fire Service and Civil Defense Department. He said his team retrieved the bodies of 5 people and rescued the survivors from the lake, which is the country's largest artificial body of water. Medical authorities in China say more than 1,700 medical workers in China have been infected with the new COVID-19, also known as coronavirus, and 6 have died. Deputy Director of the National Health Commission, Ding Jinxin, says the vast majority of the medical workers in that 1,502 out of 1,716 have fallen ill in Hubei province. It's the first time China is releasing an official count of infections among medical personnel during the COVID-19 outbreak. And in sports, Super Eagles coach Kenneth Rowe has advised Joseph Yobo to get a coaching license. He must succeed as a coach of the national team. The Nigerian Football Federation confirmed the appointment of the former Eagles captain on Wednesday as an assistant coach of the Super Eagles, replacing Ima Amakpabo, a move Rowe revealed he was privy to before it was announced. Rowe also queried Amakpabo's removal, stating that the former Enugu Rangers coach did well during his time as an assistant. He was expected to be on the bench when his Eagles host Sierra Leone in an African Cup of Nations qualifiers next month. Tottenham Hotspur manager Jose Mourinho on Friday said Dele Alli is not racist and regrets posting a social media video which appeared to joke about the new COVID-19. Mourinho puts the 23-year-old Spurs and England midfielder's Snapchat video down to a younger generation era, although the player has been asked by the English Football Association to explain the post. Ali's video, which was subsequently deleted after several complaints were made, showed him wearing a face mask in an airport departure lounge. He moved the camera towards an Asian man before showing a bottle of antiseptic hand wash. The death toll from China's virus epidemic neared 1,400 on Friday, with 6 medical workers among the victims, underscoring the country's struggle to contain a deepening health crisis. And that's it on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Aneta Felix. Thanks for watching.